Coming to you live from Shekinah Glory Ministries, you have your very own Deone Thompson. And I have a word that I would like to share with you all today. But even in my sharing, I may be stoned. Amongst believers, oftentimes we contemplate on whether or not we are supposed to forgive and forget. And many believe that you're supposed to forgive and forget. But I'm going to state this, and I'm going to leave this right here. If I forgive you, I may not forget. Selah. I want you to think about that for a second. While you're thinking, let's define these words. So, forgiving is one's resentful attitude being depleted, wiped out, removed, and the person that was offended is the one that is able to basically pardon, or with the help of God, he's able to pardon, helping you to be able to ignore, helping you to excuse, and to overlook one's behavior or one's offense and their flaw. Breaking down the word forget. Forget means to fail to remember. That you'll be able to put out of your mind, to cease to think or even to consider. And for instance, if someone came to me and they needed prayer and I prayed for them, and in turn they're like, thank you, I may say, nah, there's no need to thank me, because that's what I'm created to do. Oftentimes forgetting is basically when you're able to move on without an apology and or a thanks even given. Forgetting helps one to not act improperly or unbecoming and unfitting. I'm going to give you a scenario. You were raped and you got into a place where you were able to forgive in your heart. But now that your child is around this family member of yours that basically raped you, now you tell me whether or not you will be able to forget and wipe out of your mind what has happened. I'm not saying that you walk around and you think that this is going to happen to your child, but you put up some type of restraints to allow yourself from being hurt, from being abused, possibly abandoned, inflicted with pain again. And I came up with this quote, and the quote reads as, restraints are oftentimes built through our experiences. Forgetting does not allow restraints to be put in their proper places. Now, you may say, why do you find it hard to forget? Now, I gave you a prime example. And when I go back to the Bible, Jesus tells Satan, get behind me, Satan. Again, he forgave, but in the same breath, you see that he has a remembrance of something going on for him to even say, get behind me. And then again, even with people that walk around and they act like they're believers, God said, get away from me, you worker of iniquity, for I know you not. Again, you have to be held, or you will be held accountable for things that you do. Again, to me, that speaks of it not actually being forgotten to the point where you don't have to be accountable, because you have to be accountable. Now, you forgive and you forget to the point where you can put that thing behind you and you can move forward in the spiritual realm. You know, because we are called to press towards the high mark, or to press towards the mark of the high calling. So, again, my brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you that we ought to not walk around as if things has not happened. I've told and I shared many stories, and I'm going to wrap this up, but I shared many stories where I was amongst false prophets. And again, you know, I, even myself, was kind of like fondled with when I was a child. And for many people, you know, even when you try to put something out of your mind, we don't all the times have full control of what is flowing through our mind. Now, when that thought comes to our mind, yes, we can pray and cast that thing out or push that thing off to the side and ask God to help us basically to move forward. And again, we know that even a murderer can be forgiven of their sins. So I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that God has called us to use wisdom. He has called us to apply wisdom. He has not called us to walk around to be deceived and to allow any and anything and everything to happen to us. He has called us to raise up the standard. And in that raising of the standard, I believe God has allowed us to basically put restraints in their proper places. And when we act out of obedience, or we put our faith with our action, God will come in and he will do the rest. So for those that really believe in that word, forgetting, you can forget to a certain extent. You can forget whereby you're able to be around that person that offended you, and you possibly may still yet be able to love on them as if it never happened. But to say that it's fully wiped out and washed out of your mind, I second that. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, be blessed.